Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earl's Fireside Chats. I'm your host, Earl Scott Jr. It's good to have you here. Today we have some special guests from Andrews Semiconductor. We'll start off by introducing them. We have with us their CEO, Anthony Bosch.
How's it going, Earl?
Good to have you here. We also have their CFO, Justin Pritchett.
It's good to be here today, Earl.
Great to have you. We have their head of research and development, Richard Kinghorn.
Glad I can make it.
Good to see you, Dick.
Good to see you too.
And last but not least, we have their head of production, Kyle Stevenson.
Earl?
Good to have you here, Kyle. So, we're going to get right down to business. Let's talk a little bit about Andrews Semiconductor, some of the success that they've had over the past 8 years, and some of their future, what we can expect from you. So, I've looked over your company quite a bit as I've had time to research you and learn more, and I feel like I'm starting to get to know you pretty well. And I think that it's amazing what you've done. Most importantly, I think you've built a great mission statement, something you can really work with. So we'll start with you. How has Andrews Semiconductor's mission statement evolved over the past 8 years into what it is today?
Well, ultimately, it hasn't changed too much. But like any good company, we have had to adapt it as things have come up and as time's gone by. Initially, it was simply to produce as much as we could and get those products into the hands of as many consumers as we could. As time went on, we found that we needed to try to incorporate more efficiency into what we were doing. So it was to get as many products into the hands of as many consumers for the greatest amount of profit. And that's really the main change that occurred over the 8 years.
We'll shift to try to maximize efficiency.
Yes.
I think that is the sign of a great company. The process that goes into that, continual improvement. As you've done that, you've gone after certain segments of the market. And I've been able to see how your growth in certain segments has shifted, and I think a lot of that has to do with your research and development and the work that's gone there. Dick, as you've really sought to bring new products to the market, how would you say that you focused your efforts?
Thanks, Earl. As a research and development manager overseeing invention and redesign, it is our responsibility to focus on the 4 P's of market. And in the earlier years of our company, we saw a very high demand in the low-tech segment. So we started off hot by creating 3 low-tech products. And we saw great success in the low-tech market, beating every other company in the industry in sales. But as the years developed, we saw also very high demand on the high-tech product, in the high-tech market. So we just started to make high-tech products and saw great success in the high-tech market as well.
I was able to see that growth and some of the shifts that have happened now as the high-tech market is starting to balloon and really expand and grow, and I think that's going to carry on into the future pretty well.
We think so too, Earl.
If we move on here, really as you've sought to bring those great products to market, there's been a lot of market competition. A lot of other firms you've been battling with and trying to beat out. And as you've done this, I'm sure in production, Kyle, that you've seen a lot of changes in the market and things that you've had to seek to overcome. But with that, who did you see as your strongest competitor? Who was your focus on and trying to compete with?
Well, our biggest competitors were definitely Baldwin and Digby. Those guys were just doing so great with all their investments. They're just doing great with cutting back on material costs, production costs, which is why they had great margins, and that's why they had their profits just kept beating ours. And for that, they're our biggest competition, and so that's why we try to keep our sales going and try to be competitive with them at all times.
We've talked a lot about costs and about what it takes to get a product to market through research and development. Your mission statement, you really want to maximize a company's profits, as any good CEO would. You're trying to make the best product at the best price, and clearly here on the production side, we've seen that hasn't always been possible. That other firms have been able to cut beneath you in prices. You may sell higher volumes, but you're not making quite those profits. As a CFO, You know, I'm sure that's really affected you a lot, Justin. You know, maybe gave you some sleepless nights. You know, but as you've done that, what kind of decisions have you had to make? What kind of decisions has the company had to make that has led to your profitability? Because you're still profitable as you seek to be competitive with others. What have you really done to maintain that?
A few of the things that we've done to maintain our profitability is we've always looked for new ways to cut our costs, production costs and our labor costs, and we've also tried to cut our spending as far as payroll goes by offering training programs for our employees so that we can have fewer employees that do a large amount of the work.
You know, I think that model starts to become industry-wide as people try to improve efficiency. You know, but I'm sure there were challenges and hurdles that came with that. Dick, as you dealt with that, you know, what kind of challenges did the company face in accomplishing their goals?
Well, due to unforeseen demand on a very successful products that our company created, the Andrew company had many stockout costs that decreased our profits tremendously. Another challenge that we faced was our high cost decreased our margins, which also decreased our profits tremendously, which was really our greatest challenge, comparing our profit to the other competitors that we talked about earlier.
You know, I've seen that in this last round you sold off a lot of capacity. I would assume to try to compete, but how do you see that going on in the future? How do you see that grow? You know, really from a financial standpoint, you know, how does a company rationalize limiting your capacity like that?
Well, what we saw, Earl, is that there was a leveling out in the market. And so we thought that one of the best ways that we could remain profitable through a slowdown in the market was to sell off some of our capacity and production so that we didn't have those unnecessary costs when we weren't producing at a high level. But we also left it open for ourselves to bring back some of that capacity as the market starts to take off again.
So with changes in the market that are coming, and you know what some of your employees have talked about today, Anthony, as the CEO of this company, what are your projections for the future?
Well, I would say that we expect to see an increase in sales as well as see demand increase over time. With the marketplace, it won't stay stagnant for very long. As things continue on, we'll continue to place more effort to improve efficiency. As we increase capacity, we'll do so a little bit smarter this time around, thus increasing our profits for the future, our overall contribution margin and overall bottom line per sale, per unit sold, not just as a total. And you know, really, as things continue to progress, as the demand increases, we'll also continue to segue further into the high-tech market, where we feel that we can get higher returns for each product sold.
I think that's a wonderful goal, great plan, and I hope to be able to meet with you again in the coming years and see how that's progressed for you. Thanks for being on the show. It's been a great evening. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for having us, Earl.
Okay.